What really got me very interested in Maidenhair Fern was there was a basket at the museum in Finland. And when I went there and saw this basket, it had been collected by Admiral Edelon in 1835. And that Maidenhair Fern on that basket was as beautiful as it was the day that she wove it. It still had that beautiful bright color. The thing I admire about the Ts'msyen weavers are they never use dye. They only use the ones that from Metlakatla here. They only use Maidenhair Fern and the sun-bleached grass. It has two colors. It has a dark side and it has a mahogany. The good ones are the ones, don't get them where the wind really blows them back and forth. You don't want wind-checked ones, and you'll feel it. If you feel along the edge, you'll feel it's smooth. But if it's wind-checked, there'll be little abrasions on it, and you don't want to get that. You really will need this size, and if you could get maybe 10 a piece, and we'll work on it.
Can you explain to everybody what you do when you find the long ones here? How far down do you clip them?
Oh, I go clear down to the bottom, and then I use a knife. You only take it up to about here, and you'll drop these right where you got it, because there's seedlings on these there's spores on these little leaflets. So drop them where you picked them.
I'm gonna go a little bit deeper in here to the taller ones because they're a little bit more sheltered. And then I'm just gonna follow it all the way down just by feel. So as you can see, it's a nice long piece. It gets thin right up here. Like Nani said, you just want to pinch it off and drop all the little seedlings right back into the wood so they can grow again. Usually you get ones that are nice and straight, so I'm going to try and look for another one. Here's another nice straight piece. And as you can see, like Nani was talking about, it's got that beautiful mahogany color on one side and then this nice really dark color on the other side. This one's a really good example. Here's the mahogany. And turn it over and it's that beautiful dark color.
I noticed when I picked up this one, after I had picked it, that it wasn't as smooth as the one Delores showed.
I noticed as I was looking for fern, the fern that were a little closer to the road had that bumpy texture. So you want the really smooth ones. I feel them before I pick them.
Usually we put it in really hot water, boiling water in fact, and Holly leaves it there a long time, but I don't leave it that long. I put it in the hot water. She says it's easier to work with the longer she leaves it in hot water. Then you take and don't press really hard, just gently. And these kind of knives are really good because it bends, it doesn't stay stiff.
So Delores, are you flattening it?
Yes. What you're doing is you're choosing there's two colors. There's this mahogany and then this darker side. And so what you try to get it really even so it's the mahogany is all on one side. But sometimes you can't do that and it's 50-50. There's a little inner pith. And you have to get it from the top. It's just right in the center. Okay, and you pull it down. Whoops. See, it's been wind checked. See, there was an abrasion there. See why you don't want to get anything with an abrasion?
So Nani, that pith is helping you split it?
Yes, it splits right along that line.
Do you think the hot water maybe helps separate?
The hot water does. It when you have it hot and it's softer, it doesn't keep breaking. Yeah, you just put it in the boiling water. I leave it only for 4 or 5 minutes. But Holly leaves it for quite a long time. Sometimes she leaves it overnight.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it really makes a big difference. See, and it just came right off. That's how it's supposed to go. This gets so soft you can just...
You mentioned that this was a little early to be harvesting the fern.
It's not that early, about a week early. Because next week they'll be more ready, they'll be taller, for one thing. And they grow fast in these long days.
Maidenhair fern really, it takes you to master maidenhair fern devotion, because you don't always get a good crop to harvest, even though you may have harvested in the same area. There's seasonal differences, and I would say climate change differences.
I'm just gonna use my knife and just gently with the dull end, I'm gonna just gently push. You don't want to use too much pressure. So we're just gently gonna push it. And you can see it split a little bit, and that's fine. And now we're gonna open it up, and we're gonna take out this inner pith. So you just take that and you pull it to the side, and you just gently pull, and just take your time. It's coming out nice and easy, which means it was nice and sheltered from the wind. Had it snagged, that would let you know that when it was young, just like that, it took a lot of wind. And then I can just finish the rest with my nail.
So when you were pressing down with the dull end of the knife, was that splitting the sides of it?
It was helping make this crease that my thumb is now following. And now I can just open it up and get the rest of that pith out. There. Just pull that out. So from here, once you've pulled that out, you can just dry it and store it. If it was a full piece that you just pulled, and it still has that green inner pith, then you would freeze it. If you're gonna prepare all of it now and weave with it, then it's gonna, see how it's naturally splitting apart into halves? It'll split into 2 halves. And again, I can just run my thumb along the side, and you just want to open it up. And it has that natural split in it from when you flattened it out. I'm just going to run my thumb along that. Finish it off. So once you have it open in 2 pieces, scrape out all of this inner, I want to say bark. It's not really bark. It's really woodsy. You can get slivers if you do it. If I were to scrape it with my thumbnail down, I'd get a bunch of slivers in my thumb. So I just a little bit at a time, I scrape up. I have more control that way. Some people, like Nani, she likes to use the back of the knife. And just get all that green stuff right out of there. The outside is the shiny part. That's the part you're going to be, you want showing as you weave. The true test to see if it's good to weave with is if it wraps around your finger. Because you want it nice and pliable. You see this one cut in half, and that's just because it was cold. It wasn't in the water long enough. But it's still a good weaving piece. If I were to just snap it there, I could still weave a fair amount with this piece right here. And again, even more with this piece.
So at any point when you're working with that, you want it to be wet and warm so that it's pliable?
Yes. When it's warm, it's really pliable and flexible. But this one, see, it's really stiff and it's not bending very much. So this one would go back into the water before I tried to scrape out the rest of it.
See, this is really woody, so you could break it right about there. Where further up, it's softer.
Some of these, I don't know whether I was pressing too hard. See here, it's in 3 pieces.
And those are still really good pieces. You can still use those for some fine weave.
They'd be very fine.
There's a dark and a light. So you've got your dark, almost black piece side, and then your lighter sort of mahogany side. So then I just set those aside in piles so that we have one color and the other. For this, for example, here, it's thinner up here and it's thicker here. So I can use that for one basket, and I can use this side for another basket for a smaller piece. So like Delores was saying, I mean, you process a lot of this, and then you find the pieces that you need that will work for the piece that you're working on.
Kim has split her Maidenhair Fern, and she's pulled the pith out. She's scraped the insides. So this is ready to weave with. So we're not going to weave today, so we're going to throw it in some of the press and seal wax paper so that she can throw it into her freezer and it's not going to crack or get bad. And she's going to use the sticky side for it. She's just going to set it in here and then wrap it up nice and neat. And it's just going to preserve the moisture that's already in the Maidenhair Fern. And now she can put this in the freezer and it'll be good to go for when she wants to weave.
And when she goes to use it again, does she do something to prepare it to get ready to weave?
Yep, she's going to get it wet just like before so that it's nice and pliable. She'll use hot water just like we did today, and it's ready to go.